Right. How are you doing? Good morning. Boker Tov, as we say in Hebrew. What we're going to talk about a little bit here, and I want it to be more the dialogue and rather than a lecture. I would love to hear a little bit about what it's about minority. So in Israel, we have 20% of the Israel are minority. When I'm including that in this group, we're talking about Arab Israelis who are, you have Muslim Arab, you have Christian Arab. It's different. They have different education system, different rules, and more than that, religious why they are more open to the Israeli society. And you can see that they are more integrated to the Israel society. You have Cherkesses, you have Bedouin, you have Druze. Naif that we were speaking with you yesterday is Bedouin. You have Ethiopian. I'm Ethiopian, for those of you who didn't notice. The color, like, get it out. And we have another small groups. This is about in majority the minority in Israel. In Israel, as you all know, we are a democracy, and the democracy is being ruled by a law, and everyone have equal rights. When it comes to minority rights, we would see that minority have an extra right, like extra values, extra right, in order for the state did, in order to protect them from the discrimination. It's a long road, like all discrimination, and for them to integrate to society, find better job, to be leaders in our community. If you look right now to the leaders of the Israeli society, you would see that we have Arab Israelis who are representative in the Knesset, which our elective government. You have the Bet HaMishpat Elyon, the Supreme Court Justice, the judge. He's Arab Israeli. More than that, I can say that 5 years ago, we had our president. He was judged for misconduct, rape, something like that. And the one that sent him to jail was an Arab judge. Something that think about in a very diverse society, and a minority, an Arab judge sent our president to jail. This is how open and acceptable is the Arab community inside of Israel. Something that it's very important to remember, there is a lot of misconception when we talk about Arab. There is the Palestinians who live in the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, and you have Arab Israelis. Arab Israelis are a part of the Israeli society. They are full-rights citizens. Rather, the Palestinians are not part of the Israeli society. A lot of time when you in a dialogue with people who pro-Palestinian, they say, no, Israel is not democracy. They don't give rights to Palestinians. But if you think about it, even in the future, a country that will be established, the Palestinian state, the Palestinians won't be a part of the Israeli state, meaning they don't need, this is Naif. Phone, what can I do with that? It's something that we have to remember, that if you discuss with poor Palestinian people, when we talk about Arab and Palestinian, there is a large difference. Arab Israelis are citizens of the Israeli society, rather than Palestinians are not a part of this society. So they are not part of our government law. They are not part of our legal system. Okay. So do you have minority in Norway here?
Yes.
How do you know? Someone know how much they are, like percentage-wise? From your society? Yeah.
I think it's on national-wide, it's on
20%. So it's similar. Do you what is like the groups? Can I like a little bit of them?
Natives.
That's how I heard about it. They said native, but not really native. This is the thing.
They are indigenous.
They are indigenous to the land.
Yeah, but they're all across Russia, Sweden, and Finland, and Norway, so they are not dominantly Norwegian.
Okay. And are they integrated to the community in Norway?
Yes, most of them live in Oslo.
Most they integrated to the Oslo society. Can you tell me something, any problem or any difficulty that minority deal in your country?
They will kill the reindeer flock and blame it on something else, and then they will get money from the government.
Okay, I will pretend that I understand that. Yeah. Any other? Yeah. Yeah.
We have some of the largest in relative to our population, we have some of the top three highest rates of people going to Syria to fight for the Islamic State.
Okay, so that's, if you think about it, like, it's a very interesting point, and I discussed it with one of you. I don't recall who. You have the הזדהות למולדת. When you are a part of a country and you really feel like you're a part of the country, you feel like the values that our country represent, you feel integrated to society, you won't do something like that. There's a problem a lot of time with minority inside the country where they don't feel they are integrated to society and they're looking for something else. They're looking for a group who accept them. If we're talking about ISIS, they are playing on that card of the new immigrants that come, immigrants that were born there here, but they feel like the society didn't accept them, so they are looking for something bigger who would, and ISIS go to this level. In Israel, we have a lot of programs, educational programs, in order to prevent those kind of things. You have in our school, you have two education system. You have the Arab education system, and you have the Jewish education system. The Arab education system is in Arabic, and they are talking about the Arabic history and give them a lot of information in order for them to feel like, to understand they are part of the society, and much more easier for them to study in Arabic. But they do study in Hebrew, and they do integrate to society. Rather, the Israeli society have this, the Jewish education system has the same programs, but they work like I can say that in the Ethiopian community, there are a lot of times there are low-income families, and what you have, it's a lot of leadership programs in order for them, order to help them to get out of the cycle of poverty, or help them to get to a better job. There's something that there's a law that calls העדפה מתקנת. It's too early for English for me. Sorry, yes. It's like a lot of big words. Racial preference. Like when I will say what it is, and you will find the words. Okay. When you give advantage for a small group of people in order for them to get across in job and find job. Not the opposite of the discrimination.
Anti-racism.
No.
Like when minority groups get more rights, so they can have, like, example, they have more places they have to feel like places to go.
אתה לא יודע? העדפה מתקנת?
לא
רשום לך?
Like that. Did you give them like extra?
Okay, no, so I don't recall the word. I really know that. I really know the word. Okay, so we have a law that means that in order for them, a lot of people will say the law is anti-democrat because it gives more rights to one group of the community rather than another one. But when I do agree for this law and what we study and the analogy that are always doing in order for affirmative action. You see what Google gave us. And so this is it, affirmative action. There's a lot of people who disagree and people who agree. My opinion about it and what I try to explain to people is if you were in a race and you have two contestants, one will be like starting the regular cross, like, and the other one will start 1 feet under him. And what the affirmative action is helping the person who is behind to come to the same starting line. And this is the affirmative action, and you have a lot of it in Israel, in places of job and employment, in the government seat, and you have in order for the people to feel like they are being represented and they have rights. Okay?
But there was just yesterday, I think, Ben talked about it, how if you apply for any university and you know that you have better grades than other people that get in that are of a different minority, for example, Muslim and Hindu, then it can easily be a source of racism because you know that you lost your job opportunities because you you have the wrong faith.
Yeah, this is an issue. That's why it's so complex and why you have so many people who are against it. But the other coin of this argument would say, but the person that is coming from Muslims who come from a low-income family, who their parents were immigrant to this country and didn't speak the language, and his child succeeded, although all those difficulty to get in or to get the grade that he got. He had to go through much more than the regular kid who had all the opportunities and all the right things in his family, money-wise, career-wise, or whatever, in order to get to the school. So you are saying you have life experience and you have grades. And what we are doing is taking the life experience and account and not seeing only the grades. This is like the point of view of affirmative action. Have any more questions? Yeah? Yeah, no? Yeah, of course.
I was wondering, it's a quite new thing in Israel, the Arab League. Yet we have not anything like that in Norway. First, we have some minorities who do not want to be a part of the society deliberately and do not vote, because their religion tells them not to vote. But what do you think of a democratic party that does not want Israel to exist, because the Arab League declares that they do not want a Jewish state? Is that supposed to be a ruling Jewish state?
Okay. And you have the right to present, you have a representation. The only law that says that you cannot go against the values or go against the country, meaning you are a traitor. So unless they are doing formally declaring that they don't believe in the right of Israel to exist, they didn't do that. They say that Israel doesn't have the right to exist in the border that we are right now. They believe in 67 borders. So they are still legally very on the line. And something is very important to understand about the Arab representation in our government. A lot of time, most of the time, the group won't really represent the Arabs in Israel. I'm talking about the Arab Israelis. They represent the Palestinians, meaning they are push for a Palestinian agenda. They will push for a Palestinian government issue, and every time they will talk about somebody, will talk about the Palestinian people. They won't talk about the Arab Israeli education or terms of condition or what they should. They don't work for their own public. It's something that something is very, very hard to understand. And if Naefa was here, he would tell you that there's a lot of hard feelings about it in the Arab community, because you feel like you're choosing someone who doesn't really take care of your rights, but at the same time you feel like you don't have any other party who will have the same values that you have, and you can choose them. So it's very hard for them. What you see in the Arab community, the Christian versus the Muslim Arab, the Christian Arab will be more tempted to integrate to society, because they will go to private school, because they have more programs that integrate with the regular Jewish Israel society, and what makes them more accommodated in a part of the Israel society. Rather than the Arab will have a lot of groups that will stay inside their community and will be afraid to come out, or don't want to come out. But what we see in the recent years with the young people, that more and more of them will move to Tel Aviv and learn to the university. And my school in the IDC in Herzliya, you have a big population of Arab Israelis. As time goes by, you see the more and more integrated to society. And I think it's something that's similar in every immigrant society, that the first generation, it's very hard for them. They get alone, but only the second and the third generation really integrate and really be a part and contribute to the community. Yeah.
I just wonder, what are the challenges for Christian Arabs and also Christian Jews? And also, I would like to add, some of us probably watched the YouTube video on where George Deek has speech, and I as well. I don't remember everything he said, but he said there were some challenges about being Christian Arab.
The challenges are very similar to the challenge that every minority have in every country. It's not something. It's not something unique because we do live in a democratic society. I think if we talking about the Christian community, the Arab Christian, they are very very successful group in Israel. They one of the best schools and like the best grades in Israel is a Christian Arab school. So it's a very strong community, and also their parents. If you talk about like the immigrants, their parents mostly will be doctors, professors, and people like that. So their accommodate to the society was much more easier than the Muslim Arab who have coming from a village mentality and stuff like that. So this is about it. And what is the second question?
Just about the challenges they encounter. I think what George Stick said was something about finding work, that he thought his surname could be a problem sometimes or something.
In the government companies or government issues, you have laws that demand for the company to have this kind of percent of Arab or minorities, so it's much more easier. But in the private sector, you cannot enforce a person to hire a minority. So I think that's what he was talking about, and I think the only way to deal with that is better our education from the children. So once you integrate them in an early age and something that's a part of your society, and you are used to be with them and you feel like them, you will accept them to work. You will work for them and stuff like that. It's something that only time, in my point of view, can help to improve. Yeah. Like a final thing that I will want to talk about is the army. You know, the army in Israel, we have a mandatory recruiting law. That means that girls will serve for 2 years, boys will serve for 3 years. Yay! I did 3 years, so no. I volunteer. No. Okay, no matter. So what we have, לא רלוונטי. Okay. So what we have in the army, the Jews are required to go to the army. As Naif told you yesterday, the minority groups don't have to, but a lot of them volunteer in the army. But you have a lot of laws in the army in order to help them to better their service. Meaning, even if like ultra-Orthodox Jew, they have a lot of problem to recruit to the army because they feel like the army, they cannot be faithful to their religion and be able to do army service. So the army will give them an extra rights, like they can pray 3 times a day, they get like ultra kosher food, they get like more time off, whatever they need in order to accommodate the army to their needs and for them to service the army. The same thing you have with Christian and Muslims who choose to serve the army. The army will accommodate its law in order for them to have a better service. As I told you yesterday, for us, army is something that a part of society, something that break barriers. You meet a lot of people that otherwise you won't meet, and you find the friends that you would never have found if you weren't there. This is about it. So, have any other questions? Yeah.
Yes, I heard it said that from Norwegians who have volunteered, that's also something you might come upon, because in Norway, those who volunteer for IDF from Norway, and maybe they're just old people who don't who just have a lot of time on their hands and want to volunteer, right? And so in Norwegian media, people find that really despicable, and just they get a lot of criticism. Like we had a politician here in Kristiansand who did that, and she was sort of criticized in the media as well. But another thing was that where it said that people are so well integrated that even those who are have extra challenges can do a job in the army. And anyhow.
שילוב של זה? קבוצות?
אנשים שבאים שמתגייסים במיוחד לישראל.
There is a large group of people who come from abroad, from different countries around the world, to recruit the Israeli army because they believe in the values that it represent. What we see, they have programs inside the army that help them before that. Meaning, you have our education core, and what they do is take those groups and teach them Hebrew, teach them about the Israeli society. Because once they are going out of there, they be able to. It was easier for them to be a part of the community. This is the way. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
According to what she said, I did this volunteer program last year.
Okay.
The idea. So it's very recommendable. It was a very good experience. So you just have to apply and show some certificate that your health is okay, and you probably will get it. It was a very good experience.
Oh, cool. I'm very happy to hear that.
Actually, my question was about people with Down syndrome and other challenges.
Yeah. So you have, before you go to the army, like when you're 16 years old, I think like it's changed because it's like I was like so many years ago. So 17 years ago, 17, when you're 17, you go to have a series of checks. You go like a day, they like, do you test like to check your IQ. They give you like in front of a psychologist who sit down and ask you a lot of questions to see what is your character. And there you go to a doctor who check your health position. After you finish all that, you get a grade. Like the highest you can get is 97, like as a profile, like health-wise. And then you have some people that have health disabilities. They are under, like under I think like 54 or something like that. 45. They are not obligated to. The army won't recruit them because their health issues is too severe for them to be a part of the army. And what we did, like in the IDF, we have they can volunteer to serve in a special unit where accommodate to their need. If like a disability, Down syndrome, something like that, they will help them in a small way in order for them to feel like they contribute to the state, because for them it's very important. So you have a lot of groups like that. Yeah. More? No, I can go on forever. No, I can't. Thank you. That's it. Bye.